Have you ever noticed that one of your femurs points a different way than the other one? If so, this is going to be a great exercise for you. We're talking about active wishbone today. My name is John Clark with the Posture Pain Connection. I'm certified by the Egoscue Institute to perform postural therapy. And with this active wishbone exercise, it's going to be great for promoting thoracic extension while getting your hips and femurs into balance. It's a simple exercise to do. You don't need any equipment. Let's get into it. So we're starting with active wishbone, but if you find that you don't have enough strength to do this movement, be sure to stick around to the end of the video to watch what I do with just the kind of wishbone or static wishbone position, because that is going to be more of a stretch than this dynamic movement. And if you don't have the strength, you start with the stretch, then move in to the strengthening. So you can use a cervical roll if you like. Most people are just going to use their kind of arms or their hands or their forearms to rest their head on. But first off, take your glasses off if you do wear them, because that will start getting into your, poking into your face there. So you can use a cervical roll like this to rest your head on if you want. But that's kind of how I prefer to do it. I'm going to have to be going up and down to be able to talk to you guys, but if you're doing this exercise, you're just going to keep your head on the ground the whole time. Now, from this position, once I get my head down, I'm going to keep my knees together, and I'm going to rotate my femurs out, or in, rotate so my ankles go out, then back in. Out and in. Now you might experience some cramping, you might experience some difficulty with the strengthening of it, but that would be when you go to the static wishbone position if you need to, which might be better. So let me put my head down and show you how it goes. I'm going to just put my head here, and it's 3 sets of 10 if you're doing the active position. So 1, 2, 3. Now notice what I'm not doing. I'm not going real fast. I'm doing a slow, controlled motion. And I'm also making sure that my ankles at the starting position are directly above my knees. I'm not letting them put the walls here. I'm not letting them push far out. I'm not tucking them in towards my butt. They should be at 90 degrees, right above my knees. And from there, it's just that in and out, slow and controlled position. Now, we're using gravity in the ground to keep those knees in place. If you find that your knees are starting to fall apart, or that your knees want to go out, you may not be ready for this exercise just yet. There are some other modifications that I'll be covering in the future that you can try as well, but I don't have those videos filmed at this point in time. So that's it for the active portion of this. And of course, we'll check out the static portion right now after this. So if you're doing the static or just regular wishbone, because you don't have that strength, of course, it's going to be very similar. You can use your hands or your forearms or a roll like this, a pillow, but you're just going to keep your knees tucked together. You're going to let those femurs rotate in, letting the ankles hang out to the side. We're just letting gravity do the work. We are not actively pressing here. And it's just this position right here. Now, this also might be good if you notice when you're trying to do the active ones that one femur only goes a little ways and the other one gets stuck. You might also want to do this and just let it hang. You can stick here for up to a minute or longer. Sometimes I like to do it for longer than that, just to really let those femurs and the hips and the pelvis balance out and get into a more neutral position. And you might be surprised how much you feel happening in the hamstrings when you really let this position sit for a while. Because if your femurs are out of balance, the hamstrings end up having to do a lot of extra work, because you got 2 hamstrings in each leg, and depending on which way your femurs are rotated, one is going to have to be doing a lot more work than the other. So this is a great way to get those hamstrings into balance. And if you do feel just like that cramping sensation, like the muscles are adjusting, you want to lean, not press into it or anything, But try to, as long as it's tolerable, stick with it. If it gets into a pain or a spasm, you need to come out of it immediately. And a good way to counter that would just be going into this frog position. If you're not familiar with the frog position, I've got a whole video about it that you can check out in the cards above or description down below. But this is a great way if you start getting a cramp that's too intense. You just go into this frog position and let those pelvic disparities work themselves out. Then you can go back into the wishbone position. So those are all the tips I've got for active wishbone and wishbone. Hope you have a great day.